Welcome back to another episode of the Know Nothing Show. We are reviewing Superman today. This is a full spoiler review.
There's not a lot of spoilers.
Well,
There's one.
That's what I was going to say.
There is one thing.
There's not a lot that happens in the movie that if somebody told you that you'd be like, oh, why did you say that?
Correct. There's one spoiler, and I should have written it down because I could have guessed it.
Which one are you talking about?
You
want to get there?
It.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Let's just, right off the bat, I'm just going to give my 2 cents
I'll let
here,
Sam
okay?
go first because Sam's like the big Superman fan. He's like full on. That's like the first thing I learned about him when I met him. I'm more of a Batman-ish type of guy, so Sam's the real Superman guy, so we'll let him.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready?
Yep.
This is not a good movie, guys. This is not a good movie. I know. I wanted it to be as good as it could possibly be. This is not a good movie. This is not a good Superman movie. Everybody was saying it's a good popcorn movie. It's a good, audience movie. It's a good fun movie. Fine, not a good Superman movie.
Okay.
Which is the reason I was excited to go. Okay? This is not a story about you could have put anybody in that, any hero, and it could have been anything, right? It would have been fine. You could have had Joe Schmo, right, the local hero, and you could have told the same story, and it would not have mattered that it was Superman.
Correct.
I don't know what the problem was in this movie. What is he doing in this movie? What is the issue? We have Lex Luthor trying to kill him. He's trying to not die. Mm-hmm. He's trying to save the world, basically, because Lex is destroying it. Mm-hmm. Superman has a little bit of an internal conflict of where do I belong, which is what you should be harping on because that's his whole story.
Correct.
But they do it for 5 minutes, right? And then at the very end, he's finally like, but I am a human. You're like, but they didn't earn that in the movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm just angry at the story that was given to us in this movie. It is not a good Superman movie. Bottom line. Okay, you go.
And that's all we have for today.
Done.
So a couple things from on my end because I'm trying to like widen my scope of what's going on. Because again, more movies are coming, more stories are coming. Like
sure,
more is on the way.
You're saying from this universe.
From this universe.
But
so
why?
That doesn't mean that I have to like this movie.
Right.
Here's what I do like. I like the characters. I like Superman. I like Lois Lane. I like Lex Luthor. I like Jimmy Olsen. I like all the actors that.
I was going to say all the actors playing them did a very good job.
What everybody did. I'm
yes,
like, oh,
absolutely.
I like these people. These are cool people.
Right.
I like Perry White had the cigar the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, that's cool. So there were elements of it that I liked. So I guess for me no, I wasn't a huge fan of this movie.
Yeah.
I think this movie is for broad appeal. I think they just need everybody to go watch it.
What a miss.
They don't care if it's a Superman fan.
What a miss.
They don't care if it's, Bob from down the street. They just want people to go. And I think people are going to go.
I think people are going to go.
And that's, I guess, the point, right?
Sure.
This movie is not for me. I think it's for everybody. So I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, what's next? So something's coming up. Superman 2 or Supergirl we know is coming. All this stuff is coming.
Yeah.
Cool, that's great.
But
more stuff coming on the way.
What's coming? What are you excited about from this movie that is coming?
That James Gunn doesn't direct the next one.
Okay.
That's what I'm excited for. So my next thing is that I was talking about it with the guys last night. I was like, I feel like I'm going into like a big Cowboy game. Like I'm nervous. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? Whatever. The biggest thing I hate about the Cowboys is you cannot mention the Cowboys without mentioning Jerry Jones. Oh. Well, Jerry Jones is Cowboys. Jerry Jones is team. Jerry's world. Everything about this movie was James Gunn. David Cornsweet didn't get the press he deserved. Rachel Brosnahan did not get the press she deserved. Nicholas Hoult did not get because everything was so focused on James Gunn. That's fine. He's the leader.
It overshadowed everything
else. He's the leader of this world, but it was so stamped with everything he did.
Yeah.
Fine. You did your movie. You set up your world. Let somebody else do this.
Zack Snyder had the same situation.
100%.
It was all Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And that's all we talked about.
And it was Zack Snyder's stamp. And it worked in a lot of ways, right? And these were still good movies.
Yes.
So I don't know that I think James Gunn's name was actually giving people pause, right? They were worried about this movie and they were hoping they were going to go in.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like people are like, oh, I loved Guardians. Well, because that's what I heard walking out of the theater.
Yeah.
Walking down the stairs when this movie was over, everybody loved it. And I'm like, okay.
Like initial reaction.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that was so cool. It was so much fun. It was this, it was that. I'm like, okay, so people are going to like this movie.
Yeah, because it's fun. It's entertaining.
It's fun. It's whatever. But I'm like,
it's not
somebody
Guardians.
else do something. Like
it is not
James
Guardians.
Gunn. Like you let somebody else direct the next one.
Yes,
you did what you need to do. You got it kicked off.
Get away.
What
man.
I think, I loved all the characters, actors. You have something great, which I think
that's a good point.
Great.
That's a good point.
This movie is not my favorite movie.
No.
It's not my favorite movie, but you have...
Yeah, but of all the hero movies you've had, like, where is this even falling for you? I mean, like, seriously, this is not even high up there.
I hate this, but, like, Man of Steel changed the way I think about Superman.
Correct.
And David Cornsweet is super... I look at this guy, I'm like, he embodies Superman for a new generation. Your kids gonna know this,
and that's cool.
Guy is Superman.
Yes, he
and that's
is
fine.
Superman,
and I want that. I want
Superman.
the new generation of kids to know a new Superman, and that's what this guy is.
Yes,
that's what I like. I'm excited for David Cornsweet, this Superman, Lois Lane, this. But like someone else has to do the next one.
Yes,
Someone else has to direct the next one, or James Gunn has got to like change the way he's doing things. Not that it's bad; it just doesn't work for Superman. It works for Groot. It works for Star-Lord. It works for other people. It doesn't work for these characters.
I mean, I completely agree. He's not like you don't hand him like a main player and then tell him to... I don't even mind if things are in a James Gunn world, or if James Gunn is at the helm and he's sort of leading the troops and just making sure everything is cohesive. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But he can't be writing and directing these stories. These are not for him. So we get all this weird stuff going on, and James Gunn is infamous for having so much happen in a movie.
Yes.
You're like, dude... I can't even get my feet on the ground
before the next thing happens.
Yeah, I'm like, just chill out for a second. Can I focus on the one thing that you talked about before you bring in this other issue?
Correct.
And then we sort of leave that other thing behind.
And then bring it up like an hour later.
And then you want us to like, oh yeah, I remember that. And you hope it pays dividends, but it doesn't because you introduced 10 other things
along the way.
It's like, come on.
And it's not, I like James Gunn a lot. I think he's smart. I think he does all these things that are great. I just don't think Superman and these characters are for that purpose.
Well, and which
everybody's going to argue. Oh, I get it, right? You can argue with me. That's totally fine. You can defend James Gunn the way, he's starting to build this thing that Zack Snyder did, where everyone's going to just do everything that he does all the time.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You can come and make that's totally, totally cool because I do think he's done a lot of good.
Yeah,
I agree. Now do not think a character like Superman, which you can argue is the holy grail of all superheroes to ever exist or ever be written.
And I'm going to say this too, because James Gunn probably pulled his director card too soon, because we didn't need a group story in the Superman movie. No. I didn't need a Lantern. I didn't need Mr. Terrific. I didn't need Hawkgirl. I didn't need all of these people. I didn't need a Crypto.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need all of this. I wanted a Superman movie
to start and then build around.
You build around it, and then you could have pulled the James Gunn director card down the road when we had a group movie because we established all these other heroes.
And everybody was already in love.
Yes, but we already started out with this group story because, again, we're trying to recreate Guardians here, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
This was a Superman movie. I would argue Superman may have not even been the main character of this movie half the time.
Yeah.
Like, we were sometimes watching the thing, and he wasn't even the one saving the day most of the time. He was getting his ass kicked, and other people were coming in and saving the day, and he was not the focal point. If he was not there, I feel like the day would have still been saved by everybody else.
Correct.
Right? Because he did not have to get involved for all the other people to come and save the human race.
Yes.
So that's what... he didn't stop the rift. He didn't go and save all those people in Baravia or whatever that it was. Like, he hasn't done any of that.
And it's funny because the arguments... And again, it's like, come at me, whatever. But, like, don't argue that Superman should get his ass kicked.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
That's not the point
People are
of
like,
Superman.
oh, like, it's okay if he has struggles and like, yes, as a person, I get all that. And I liked that part. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so he is a good guy. He is the clean cut hero. But like Superman, the flying Kryptonian, should not get his ass kicked by one of Lex Luthor's henchmen.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It should
to me.
not. Yeah. He
yes,
should not.
a foreign thing from another planet,
Like
whatever.
a big boss.
Yes,
Yes.
a big boss. That's fine. But like,
So it's established that that he gets his ass kicked by something early on, right? And then we discover, again, spoiler, it's Bizarro.
Correct.
It's basically he's getting his ass kicked by himself, which is why it's hurting him.
Yes.
And so, okay, I get it. But again, I'm just like, all we saw the whole time was him physically get beat.
The entire time.
The entire movie. Superman's whole deal is an internal struggle. That's like his
that's
whole
what I
deal.
Want. It's
like,
him
I
like the monologue at the end, so he gave a speech of like, hey, like, I am a person. Yes. I get stressed
I make
out.
mistakes.
I get tired.
Like,
I get sad. I get scared.
But the movie didn't earn that moment.
Correct.
It did not earn that moment because we didn't see him struggling
and
the whole time.
That's what we wanted. But that's what Diego and Sam wanted from this story.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for.
And I have to think about it as like, what is, again, Joe down the street think? What does this guy think?
Do they care and like all this? I get it.
Maybe some people
they don't.
Maybe some people are over the, I'm sad. And I don't need sad Superman, but he has to have that internal struggle.
Yeah.
And again, when I think about it and I'm listening to what people are saying, like, this movie is to get people to go. It's to try to get the universe kicked off. It's not what I wanted.
Right.
I think I got enough of it. Like, okay, I like the characters. Give it to somebody else.
So, yeah.
Hey, again, I hate the comparisons, but, Batman Begins maybe wasn't the best Batman, but it got better.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, then the next movie was a lot better.
You're still hopeful that we started a universe that we could build off of.
Yeah, because I like David Cornsweet as Superman.
Me too.
That is the biggest thing.
That's true.
It's kind of all that matters at the moment is Superman.
Yeah. All
right. Hey, Crypto shows up for 2 minutes in the next one. Okay, so that issue was solved a little bit.
Right. I see
they
what
get
you're
more
saying.
into the Daily Planet.
So they're going to scale, they'll scale back.
Yeah,
because how much Clark Kent do we get in this movie?
3.5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's
like,
insane.
I am hopeful that, things start to change because somebody else is directing.
Yeah.
Again, I think all the pieces are there. Again, I always think of sports. All the players are there on the roster.
Yep.
It's a roster full of talent.
But you have the wrong coach.
You need to figure out plays. You need to figure out how to work together. You need to figure out a new coach. You need to change the playbook.
Yeah.
You need to change things. And then I'm sure it could be very, very good.
I agree. Like
and
I said,
that's why I am hopeful.
Like I think James Gunn needs to be the team owner, not the coach on the field. And I think we would have a lot better success.
Check in, say, hey, this, I like this, I like that. Just what do you need?
Like as long as it all ties together at the end, which is what I care about, and so then I could figure all that out. Like that's what should have happened here.
Correct.
But unfortunately, guys, like this is just not the Superman movie that I wanted.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah, and you're absolutely
totally
right.
fine.
All the actors. I mean, Nicholas Hoult and
this was the
David
greatest Lex
Cornsweet
Luthor I've ever seen. Somebody said this was Smallville season 11, and I was like, oh my god, it is.
That's
this is Smallville season 11.
Yeah,
Michael Rosenbaum's still probably the best Lex Luthor. But like Nicholas Hoult did a good job.
Nicholas Holt's acting is good acting in this movie, which is what's fantastic about it.
He was one of the guys that transformed into the character he played.
Yes,
it was so well done.
And that's true. And let's give credit where credit's due, because you're absolutely right. It is well done, which I get is confusing because you're like, well, but you're shitting on it. And I understand that.
Correct.
But it is well executed. Yes. Everything they wanted to do, they did. It looks fantastic. The special effects are fantastic. Again, acting is great. Everyone's playing the roles that they're playing very well. But it's just not the story. The story is not what I want.
And for me, it's not okay. But like, I'm hopeful that will come out, and
because you're right. You're right. All the pieces are there.
So much more to do.
You just have to.
And then, as a spoiler alert, Supergirl shows up at the end.
Yeah,
like doing typical Supergirl stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yep,
that's it. Got me all excited.
Yeah,
I don't know how she's gonna do. It was cool to see her in the suit, but like it was a scene for 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh.
But again, even just like the thing of like she likes to party on red planets because she can't get drunk here with a red sun because she can't get drunk with the yellow sun. I'm like, I don't care about that at all.
So again, we'll see in the next
silly.
one. I wanted
just
something.
Silly.
I didn't want some cutscene. Like I didn't want that to be the cutscene.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad it was a part of the movie as opposed to a cutscene.
That makes sense.
Again, it was 30 seconds. I have no idea. I can't expect anything from. I hope it's good.
Me too.
There's hope.
Yeah.
There's at least for
It's not
me,
an S.
from another movie. This is not my favorite one, but I think in the long run,
either.
I'm excited and hopeful for what's to come.
I appreciate that because that gives me hope because I definitely did not have it coming out of the theater.
Okay. Yeah. There's so much more I want to say, but
I know.
What do we know?
What do we know?